Welcome back to another Essential Recap. Today we will be taking a look at a story called End of the Road.
Stay in the car! Hell, I'm not about to stay in the car let these lanky-ass white boys start some shit!
This movie revolves around the life of Brenda, a middle-aged woman who just lost her husband to cancer, planning to move out of town. Brenda had sold her house to clear out all the debt she took from her husband's failed medical procedure. She was living with her brother Reggie and children Cam and Kelly at their house in Los Angeles. Brenda is wrapping things up when Cam seems to be quite against the idea of leaving his home. It looks like the kid is missing his dad a lot. With a few memories of the past coming her way, Brenda finally makes her mind up and calls everyone to get ready for their road trip from Los Angeles to Grandma's house. The family sets on a trip to Houston, Texas, with the children not seeming to be much interested in the idea of moving. The story moves away from the family for a little while, and we come across two men who were standing in a total wasteland, waiting for a helicopter with their vehicle. These men don't look nice to me at all. A guy comes out from the helicopter and leaves a bag that seemed like it contained either drugs or cash, to me at least. The bag caused a little trouble among the two dudes as they were supposed to take it to their drug lord boss named Mr. Cross. The light-haired guy decided to take matters into his own hands and shot the other guy right in the middle of his forehead, keeping the bag with him. It was kind of obvious from how he was reacting to the bag ever since he saw it. Back on the road trip, Brenda manages to cheer her family up somehow, but they end up needing to take a long detour while in the Arizona area. Our crew stops by a gas station to refuel, and while buying stuff at the convenience store, Brenda feels some awkward chills from the cashier's way of talking. The old man was surely looking racist to me in this weird interaction. Brenda takes Kelly to leave as soon as possible, and before getting into the truck, Kelly ends up flipping two white boys off who were trying to get nasty with her. Kelly's action was fair if you'd asked me. The boys should have thought twice before hitting on a random girl like this. Our seemingly normal family road trip is continuing until things start to get spicy. The white boys from earlier come up to the family's truck, trying to harass them. The family tries to stay calm initially, and the boys cross them to go ahead on the road. This sudden acceleration is giving me a bad feeling. The family had just cleared a little distance when the expected happened. The boys had blocked the family's path with no intention of letting them go. I told you guys I was having a bad feeling about this. Brenda decides to take things easy and gets out of the car to settle the scene with no aggression. The boys end up getting a little disrespectful with the lady and make her apologize multiple times after threatening her with a gun. I think that the local citizens of the area are not very fond of black people. The boys leave after having their little fun, and the kids who were pretty chaotic till earlier suddenly become obedient. They book a cheap hotel for the family to stay, and they reach the place around the evening. They ate food at a local restaurant, where the little guy Cam seemed to be quite worried about his family's financial condition. Cam remarks that they are practically homeless, which leads Brenda to comfort the little man. The young man's going through hard times, it seems. The obedient kids become chaotic and start complaining again as the family was about to sleep, but ended up uniting to make fun of Uncle Reggie. I feel bad for poor Reggie. Our family was unable to sleep due to Reggie's snoring and started to forget their financial problems, beginning a fun family pillow fight. Their neighbors next door seemed to not like the idea too much as they knocked on the wall, making the family go to bed. Our family woke up after some strange noises came from outside that seemed like a fight. Brenda wanted to go see as she was a nurse, but while she was arguing with Reggie, we hear a gunshot followed by the supposed criminal running away. Brenda checked the situation with Reggie, where they found the same man who stole the bag from earlier. The guy had gotten shot, and Reggie, who was looking for towels, came across the same bag from earlier. I felt like Reggie was quite interested in the bag at that moment. The guy dies, and the local sheriff named Hammer arrives to investigate the case when we get to know that the family had been allowed to leave by one of the officers. Sheriff Hammer explains the scenario of Mr. Cross, who is a local drug lord, and remarks that the Freeman family might be in danger now. Is it just me, or did Hammer just explain the events a bit too accurately here? Hammer calls Brenda asking her to come back, but the mom did not seem to be interested in getting involved and declined the offer. She received another call from an anonymous number that threatened her about returning their money back, and she again turned the caller down. To me, it looked like Reggie was uneasy during this conversation. The family stops at another location, and Brenda notices something wrong with Reggie's behavior. Reggie comes out clean with his sister and reveals the bag full of money he had stolen from the crime scene. I did know that Reggie must have stolen something, but the whole bag took me by a little surprise. Reggie was hoping for his sister to be proud of him, but Brenda tells him about the right thing to do and orders Reggie to leave the money alone. Brenda receives a call from the same number again, and she forces her plan of returning the money to the caller. I'm not sure if that's how these things work. She proceeds to book another motel and puts the bag there while leaving the key under the doormat. Before she was entering the room upstairs, the local janitor seemed a bit too interested in her. The family leaves back on the road after Brenda tells Reggie to shut up and makes an excuse in front of her kids. They reach a little western town of some sort and feel finally relieved as they had come quite close to getting a useless problem on their hands for no apparent reason. When we look at how things were going for the family, I think it was natural for them to be terrified by something like that. Reggie seems to be not so happy with his sister's decision and ends up bad-mouthing Brenda's dead husband for never thinking about himself. Brenda confronts him and the siblings reunite after a little turbulence. The family proceeds to enter the small church in the little town to feel at ease, and while they are in there, Cam decides to visit the restroom alone, shouting that he is grown up now and does not need Reggie to take him to the toilet. The little man got a little too hyped there for no reason. The rest wait to watch a Western-style shooting play in town and are decently content with their life at the moment, when the plot twists and Brenda receives a call from Cross, letting her know of Cam's abduction. She follows the instructions she is told and leaves to save Cam alone, while getting the attention of the police and Hammer from her reckless driving. She gets to the same motel where she left the bag earlier, but ends up devastated after not finding it there. Brenda is trying to calm down when the suspicious-looking janitor turns out to be the culprit, and she gives her a road chase. Reggie explains the situation to Kelly back in the little town, while blaming himself for the whole problem. To be fair, none of this would have been happening if only Reggie was not greedy at that moment. The janitor woman had a scrapyard car, and Brenda managed to easily catch up to her. She leads the janitor woman to go off-road, and later crashes her car while she was heading to a civilization of some local thugs. Brenda manages to get the bag back, but the thugs surround her and successfully knock her down. Reggie and Kelly are at a local restaurant where they are trying to approach Brenda. Hammer comes up to them and reveals how Brenda might be in some trouble and how they need to open up to him. Hammer is leaving when Kelly decides to give in and reveal the whole scenario. The sheriff takes the two with him, telling them that he will save their mom. While they are traveling, a sudden car that was passing by leads Hammer to do some unnecessary stuff. Brenda, who had woken up at the thug's stronghold, is brought up to the leader Mace when the biggest plot twist in the whole movie now happens, and Our Lady manages to take down every single thug by herself, securing the bag with Cross' name. Hammer takes the two to his ranch for security reasons, but just when things were looking hopeful for the family, Hammer reveals Cam out of his trunk, revealing that he was Mr. Cross all along. I knew that Hammer was aware of too much information all along, but him being the drug lord never really occurred to me. After locking the children up with Reggie, the old man remembers how he killed the guy who betrayed him back at the motel, and Brenda, who was desperately looking for her family, gets another call from Cross, who tells her to bring the money while threatening her with her family's life. Brenda heads towards the ranch, while the others try to escape the basement from the window. Kelly is trying to sneak out when she gets bit by the guard dog, while Brenda, who was heading this way full speed, brakes her car and decides to walk the rest of the way. Cross heads to check up on the hostages, and Reggie successfully manages to lure him into a trap. They dump bleach on the old man and try to get out, where the old lady confronts them. She stabs Reggie, but later Cam forces her to go down to the basement as well when he threatens her with a gun. The family locks the old couple up and escapes the ranch to meet Brenda outside, who has the bag with her. Reggie gets into a little argument regarding the money again, but agrees to leave it alone. The old couple follows the family up with no intentions of letting them go, while our family fixes their car. The car somehow starts and the Freemen are getting away when the old couple arrives, guns blazing. A shootout starts and Brenda manages to buy time after breaking the couple's windshield. The chase continues not too long after, and Brenda ends up falling down from the car on the bumpy off-road. Props to Reggie for such diving. Brenda is standing right in front of the couple as they are approaching to run her over, but our supermom manages to throw a flare that she picked from her car into the couple's vehicle. The flare causes old people to panic, and Crosswife ends up blowing her own head off, leading the car to crash into a tree. The old man dies from the collision as well, and the family leaves on their journey again after giving each other a hug of relief. After getting rid of the crazy old couple on their tails, the family arrives at a restaurant to have breakfast the next morning, and seems quite sad about the things that had happened when Reggie claims that he had solved the family's financial problems. He reveals to have stolen a lot of cash from Cross, and Brenda, who was initially salty about it, complies as well after looking at the money that would give them a new start. This brings our movie to a conclusion. Overall, the movie End of the Road is one with a general story and some decent thrill. It's not a movie to look forward to, but if you are looking to kill some time with a dramatic story with respectable twists and turns, you should give this one a try this weekend. Thanks for watching another Essential Recap. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.